The regular meeting of council to order for February 2nd. Before approval of the agenda, we have a late item. Put a recommendation on the floor that we allow late item resignation of Councillor Dussault. If I can get a seconder. Councillor Bertrand, any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. So we'll add that as number 9, and then everything I'll just move down by 1. 9.1 will become 9.2 and so on. Okay, I'll take approval of the amended agenda, please. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That the February 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as amended.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes for January 5th, 2026 regular council meeting minutes. Get the recommendation, please. Councillor Noxana.
That the January 5th, 2026 regular council meeting minutes be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Bertrand. Any errors or omissions from council? Staff?
No.
Thank you. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the minutes, council? Staff?
No.
Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda, take a recommendation, please. Councillor Noxana.
Items in the February 2nd, 2026 consent agenda be moved for information.
Seconder, Councillor Bertrand. All in favor? Carried. Are there any items council would like to bring forward for discussion? Okay. Moving on to bylaws, municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 759, 2026 for readings. Report dated February 2nd, 2026 from the Director of Corporate Services regarding municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 759, 2026 for readings. Recommendation one at a time, please. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council gives first reading to the municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 759, 2026.
Seconder, Councillor Hoffman. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Second one, Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council gives second reading to the municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 759, 2026.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Third one, Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council gives third reading to the municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw number 759, 2026.
Seconder, Councillor Bertrand. Any discussion? Again, I'll just make a comment that if there's any changes we want to see, this is a prime time to do it before we do the vote on the third reading. If not, we have to rescind it. Okay, call the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, new business. It'll be the one that we added previously before the agenda approval. The resignation of Councillor Dussault. Take a recommendation, please. Councillor Noxana.
That a by-election is not held to fill the vacancy created by Councillor Dussault's resignation according to Section 54(3) of the Local Government Act.
Seconder, Councillor Hoffman. Discussion. So I want to take this opportunity, one, to thank Councillor Dussault for the time that she has put in on council and doing the things she has for the community, for the residents of our community, attending other conferences and stuff and learning that information and, you know, working well in my understanding with Ms. Scott. You know, we just want to thank her for her time. I know she has some personal issues, I guess, or concerns that she needs to step away at this time to deal with some family emergencies that have arisen. And at this point, she decided this was the best step for herself. So fully support her. And in my opinion, if she ever needs anything, she should reach out. I've already had a conversation with Councillor Dussault. But yeah, I just want to thank her for her time. So call the question. All in favor? Carried. Signing authority, report dated February 2nd, 2026 from the Chief Administrator Officer regarding signing authority. Just before the recommendation under deletions, if we can answer or add, Councillor Dussault at the same time, so whoever reads it, just that way staff doesn't have to bring it back. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That the district's signing authorities for all financial institutions be updated to reflect the following changes. Additions, Justin Wetherill. Deletions, Dennis Bento, Ken Clickash, Luana Deso.
Seconder, Councillor Hoffman. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. 2026 grant and aid and fee for service applications report dated February 2nd, 2026 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding grant and aid and fee for service applications. Recommendation, please, Councillor Julik.
I'm wondering if we can defer this until after we've had some budget conversations. Do I need to make a
You'd have to
motion?
put that motion on the floor.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this until we've had more budget work.
Seconder on the deferring. Councillor Bertrand, discussion. Councillor Julik.
I just feel that we've only had one budget meeting. I don't know where we are budget-wise, and I think to approve anything here tonight without knowing where we are budget-wise would be giving, I just think it's premature.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, so make a comment, and I don't want to put it to staff to weigh in, but, I think by, Councillor Julik, by trying to move this forward, it actually helps out our budgeting process. I don't think we've had a budget meeting yet. We've had a workshop, but no budget meeting, so the workshop was not a meeting, it was a workshop. It was just to get some dialogue with council. We're a little bit behind on our budget meetings, which will start coming forward, but to be honest, I think this starts to build that. It's not, we're not pre-approving anything. It's something that gets put into there, so we'll actually start to see where the numbers line up as we see capital and core budgets coming in from staff side. Holding it off, I think what happens is we don't get to see that true number. It comes in late, and we might not get to see where we're sitting for tax rates and all that. So I think, there's always an opportunity that nothing's approved until the budget's approved. So by adding these, in my opinion, it's not being approved into the budget, it's just being added into our budget. One, it'll help us, I think, it helps the rest of council, but I think it'll help staff as well as produce that budget with the numbers in the right spots so we get to see it, would be my comment. Councillor Bertrand?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a clarification, I'm just wondering on our process for budget discussions here. So usually we have a grant and aid fee for service type of a budget meeting. Is that still to come? Are we just looking to waive policy to allow these grant and aids to be requested after December 31st? Is that what we're looking for here?
Yeah, I don't think any policy being waived. Like sometimes, I'll be honest, Councillor Bertrand, it gets added into a regular agenda or at a budget meeting, and we don't just have a budget meeting set for grant and aid and fee for services. And I think, again, I'm going to let staff answer, but I think staff has got the stuff that has come in now. We're trying to get it out in front of council, or sorry, I shouldn't say we. Staff is trying to get it out in front of council so they can add it to the budget. So it starts to, we start to get to see the true numbers as we start adding capital and core budget, but still having the budget discussions. We got some budget meetings coming up, which I don't think, to be honest, we're a bit behind. I'm going to be honest about it. That's not from us. I mean, that's from the contractor going through the previous budgets and trying to line stuff up. Ms. Scott had hired a new CFO, and he's landed here, which should have introduced him at the beginning of the meeting, so we'll do that after this. Get him right after we have a financial discussion. But we should have done it at the beginning, my apologies. But that's where I say staff has brought it forward. We closed these in August. We realized we did some injustice. We've had some conversations. We need staff to bring back a report. But now it's here, and to me, it's to add it so we can get that deeper conversation. But Ms. Scott, do you have anything to add there?
Yes, you're correct. It's so that we can add it. Also, the Trora is waiting for a decision because it does affect their 2026 budget. So the sooner we can have these conversations to add for further discussion, the sooner we can get that answer to them.
Thank you. Councillor Bertrand?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So from what I gather here, though, these were late applications. And according to our policy of December 31st, we need to waive the policy in order to approve these tonight. Is that correct?
Ms. Scott?
The applications weren't late. The applications were received on time. However, following the delegation from Trora, They did submit a amended application, but the applications were received by the August deadline.
Okay.
Follow up, Councillor Bertrand?
I'm just curious why the recommendations number 1 and 3 then on the report, page 31.
Ms. Scott?
The policy reads that council must make a decision by December 31st.
Yeah.
So the request is to waive that policy since council didn't make a decision by December 31st.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was previously set by council. I believe it was in July or August. No, it was before that. Would have been late May, probably. Somewhere, I don't know when we set the new policy. It was brought forward by staff for an idea to try to have some information or have stuff entered in earlier. I mean, obviously, a previous CFO was trying to have budgets discussions starting in like September and October. It didn't work out. I think I've never seen it. I don't see it at the PRDA. I mean, I see other municipalities are just starting the budget process just like we are. So like Ms. Scott said, because we made that as a policy, now we have to waive our own policy because we didn't make a decision. But that's because we haven't had a budget meeting.
Right, yeah. So just to add to the motion then, I did second the motion just to be able to discuss it, and I think we need to make some decisions here this evening, so I will be voting against it.
Thank you. Councilor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm against the deferral. Like yourself and Councillor Bertrand commented, I think we need to start making decisions. We are late in the process. And, you know, we did go back previous years and remove items after the fact once we saw what our budget implications were. So we still have time to make decisions if we find that this is outside of our ability to fund. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Julik?
So I'd just like to clarify, Ms. Scott mentioned that Trora was looking for the money sooner rather than later. So I guess what I'm wondering, does that mean they're looking for the money before we approve budget? And if that's the case, then I'm going to still vote in favor of my motion.
Yeah. I'll get clarity from Ms. Scott, but I'll just make a comment. The budget isn't complete until council passes the budget. We pass our budget, then staff takes it over. So I understand that Tora may had a conversation with our CEO, and maybe she worded it a little different. But again, they're just looking to see, I think, where we sit. Yes, we're going to add it into a budget discussion to have the conversation, or it doesn't pass to be added into our budget, and then Tora knows that we're not even looking at adding it into our budget to have those discussions. But I'll just get clarity from Ms. Scott, but I believe that even from Tora, they know when our budget is approved and when they would see that, unless it's pre-approval, and there's no pre-approval motion there.
That's correct.
Okay. Any more discussion on the deferral? Okay, going to call the question on the deferral. All in favor? Opposed? All of council and the mayor are opposed. Motion is defeated. Next recommendation, Councillor Noxana.
The council waives grant and aid policy TR 28 to allow council to make a decision after December 31st of the application year.
Seconder, Councillor Norbury. Discussion? Again, just make a comment. These are not late applications into the town hall. This is because we held it up and we didn't get our budget done in time. Okay, going to call the question. All in favor? Carried. Second recommendation, Councillor Noxana.
That council approves the 2026 grant and aid request from TR Today's Society for $8,325.85.
Okay, seconder. No seconder. You second it? Seconded by Councillor Julik. Discussion? Councillor Noxana?
Thank you. I motioned the specific number because in their application, that is the quoted amount that they have asked for. They had 10,000 in their application, but to ask for they were asking to purchase these specific things. It's a outdoor projector and things, and their quote works out exactly to this, and that includes taxes and shipping. So happy to approve that amount for them.
Councillor Julik?
I guess when I look at their financials, I guess what I wonder is, at what point do we decide that we continue to support free things, I guess, for lack of a better term? Like, so we don't support the haunted haunt or whatever. To me, these are some things that could be bringing in some income for them and some other things. And I appreciate that they do them for free for the community. At the same time, my concern is, and always has been since I came to council, are we doing the best thing for our not-for-profits when we continue to give money? Like, are we setting them up for success? Like, sure, right now, maybe we have a few bucks that we can do this. What if we get the budget in and it doesn't? Like, I know that this is just, we're putting it into the budget. I just continue to am concerned on, are we setting our not-for-profits up for success? So I can't say one way or the other if I'm voting or not. I don't know, because but anyways, that's just my thought.
Thank you. Councillor Bertrand and Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not in favor of this one. I disagree. I like the fact of the program. I just don't like the fact that we need to pay for it. I'm the same sentiment, Councillor Julich, that I think some of our nonprofits have great ideas for programs, but the district doesn't always have to pay for it. I think this could be an initiative through their own society, so I'll be voting against this one.
Thank you.
Sorry, Council or Mayor, sorry, I just had one question in regards to their profit and loss statement here. We have a fairground expense of $26,103 on page 47. I'd really like to know what those expenses are. There isn't a note on it at all, and there isn't a breakdown of what those expenses are, but that's very significant expense to run the fairground, so I'm wondering what that is.
Okay. Councillor Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this plan is kind of what we asked them to do. We didn't agree on funding another film festival. We have a fairgrounds that we have sunk cost into, and I'd be curious to see if maybe this would be something that would generate revenue in the following years, see what sort of interest they gather, what sort of quality they can put on. I don't know if I'll vote for it if budget doesn't look as good, but for right now, I don't have any problem earmarking this and having a different use for those fairgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Got myself and then Councillor Norbury. Just to make a couple comments, and I appreciate the recommendation by Councillor Noxana, but I also think that when we look at, we go back and we got these quotes and here's the prices, and until our budget's approved in May, and then the prices increased. So I'll be honest, I can't support the motion that's stated on the floor at this time, because we see it when staff brings forward stuff that they increases. So they've gotten costs, and they've probably got it at what they've got a cost at, and then they've probably increased it because they're probably going to see an increase before their budget's approved. It's 9 months later. So at this point, I can't support the motion on the floor. I think when their total ask is 10,000. Yes, they've submitted what they're looking at purchasing with some of the funds. But again, I see the concept that what happens if it goes up? Now we approve this, and then they still are short and can't do it. And I think it gives back to our community. I do understand the other comments from council in regards to, are we setting them up for failure? Are we setting them up to succeed? I'll make a comment, and I don't think we can put a price tag on volunteers. I wouldn't want to. They're invaluable. When we talk about organizations within the community of Tumble Ridge, they're invaluable. You can't put a tag to it. I believe this community has supported not-for-profits well before I ever arrived in this community in 2007. And I think if we want to see things done for our children, our youth, and families throughout the summer or the winter, I think council has to support these things. And to me, that's the only way we're going to see things get done. The district does an amazing job at our community center with some of the events that we put on. But, to match it dollar for dollar, let's start asking staff to start supplying reports what it costs to put on some of this stuff that we do internally through our budgets, that we don't itemize exactly what we're paying for. And it's lots. Canada Day is one of them, right? We Love Kid Day is another one. We know that we charge a certain amount, but what does it cost us to put it on? So here again, we have an organization that has applied, I think, for a fair ask. But for me, I can't support the motion, and the reason I can't support it is because I do believe they probably used those quotes with what they were given in June or July when they started their process, and those costs are probably totally different today. Councilor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. It's going to talk about volunteerism as well. And so I think we're both in similar opinions of we need to reward our volunteers. How much free events do we get out of this organization, this great organization that puts these things on for us? They put on the yard hunt, which, I mean, if you did how many visits went through there, it would be more people than we have in Tumbler Ridge because people go through it multiple times. One of the most sought after events in our community, and it has grown Halloween into this amazing phenomenon that is so large in our community, the Fall Fair. The Emperor's Village, they let use that space. And that's just what's now. They've done Springo. They have more to come. I'm really excited about this, Movies in the Park. I'm familiar with, Kamloops, they do music in the park, and I can see this as a place for community to grow and to gather and to create memories and spend time together. And, do we want to see more of that or do we want to see less of it? And I think it really it's that simple. We either reward good behavior, which this organization has. They're doing great things for the community. It's very low cost. If we want them to keep doing it, we need to reward it. And I want to reward them absolutely in all their endeavors, because if you don't, then it stops, or it could stop. And this is money in the bank for me. You put this in there, and they're going to put on more events that if we try to do this ourselves, the cost would be so much greater. So I'm also in favor of increasing it to $10,000, Mayor, because you never know about the costs. These could be costs on sale. They could sell out. You never know. And I would hate for them to be shorted when it comes to the time. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Got myself and then Councilor Julick. I'm going to make an amendment. My amendment is that Council approves the 2026 grant and aid request from TRDA Society for $10,000. Take a seconder on that, Councilor Hoffman. Any discussion on the amendment? Call the question on the amendment. All in favor? Opposed? Motion defeated. Councilor Julick.
So I guess maybe I feel like I need to clarify now. I don't have a problem with volunteerism, and I think that our community has amazing volunteers. This money isn't this isn't an ask for volunteers. This is an ask for one organization to do one thing, and it's Movies in the Park. And I absolutely think that it could fly, but maybe it doesn't. And so then there's $10,000 worth of equipment there. It doesn't belong to the district. It belongs to TRDA Society. I would be in favor if we saw a need as a community to buy it and then had it accessible to TRDA Society. That would fly for me. Yeah, like if this was for volunteers, if somebody was bringing me money and said, can we have $10,000 because we're going to do this initiative for volunteers, for this volunteer bot, but we have lots of volunteer organizations that don't come in and ask for money. So for me, that argument doesn't fly. I'm not prepared to support it at this time.
Thank you. Councilor Bertrand and Councilor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Another reason I'm against this motion, either at the current motion or the 10,000, is according to their balance sheet on page 48, they have about $33,000 in the bank, so they can afford it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Councilor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. To Councillor Bertrand's point, they have $33,000, but they're at a net loss of $16,000 for this year. So if they have 2 years of operations, I can't see them risking that on this piece of equipment. So I definitely want to ensure their continued success in at least 2 more years. And to the comments regarding the equipment, TRDAs is great about lending equipment. I know I had to reach out to them over the holidays to borrow items, more than willing. And I have no doubt they're very willing to let people utilize the fairgrounds as they did with the Emperor's Village. So I have no doubt that the community can have access to this equipment. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I guess my only comment would be, would council prefer to defer this and wait for and ask for a delegation from TRDAs? Is there any concern from council there? Okay. Kate, can I call the question? If you could just read your motion against Councillor Noxana. I didn't write it down.
That council approves the 2026 grant and aid request from TR Day Society for $8,325.85.
Thank you. Going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Bertrand and Councillor Juvic opposed. Motion carries. Third recommendation. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council waives the fee-for-service policy TR 40 to allow council to make a decision after December 31st of the application year and to consider the amended request from Trora.
Seconder. Councillor Hoffman. Discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Fourth recommendation. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council approves the 3-year fee-for-service request from the Tumbler Ridge Outdoor Recreation Association, Trora, for $14,290 for 2026, $14,790 for 2027, and $15,290 for 2028.
Seconder. Councillor Noxana. Discussion. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in favor of the motion that I read out. Trora is an amazing organization that we've seen take money and turn it into a lot more. And for me, that means value. And that not every grant request needs to have value upon it, but I recognize that Trora is an organization that has gone out and found hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to improve our community. Like through the help of their organizations and the events they put on, speaking with their organizations within Trora, it's an invaluable service to the club. So I want to support our clubs and organizations, and I support their 3-year term. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yep. Going to backtrack a bit here. Ms. Scott apologized in regards to having your new CFO in the room. Maybe if you want to take a few minutes and introduce him.
Sure, put him on the spot. Would like to introduce our new Director of Finance / Chief Financial Officer. This is Justin Miller.
Welcome, Justin. My apologies that we didn't introduce you at the beginning of the meeting. So my apologies to you, but welcome. We'll look forward to having you working for the district and Ms. Scott, and look forward to all the stuff you're going to start bringing forward. So,
Yeah, thanks so much.
thank you. Okay, moving on to Tumbler Ridge Lions Club License of Occupation Report dated February 2nd, 2026 from the Director of Operations and Infrastructure regarding the Tumbler Ridge Lions Club lease of occupation. Just so council knows, before you read the recommendation, this is first, so you can over at the Public Works. Councilor Noxana.
That council authorizes the district to issue a license of occupation to the Tumbler Ridge Lions Club for the use of a designated nonprofit area on District Lodge 3164, Peace River District Plan 28606, with an area approximately of 42 meters square, and a 5-year term at a nominal fee of $1 per term to support the placement of storage equipment and materials required to carry out community service activities.
Thank you. Seconder, Councilor Norbury. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Tumbler Ridge Youth Service Society lease agreement, report dated February 2nd, 2026, from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding the Tumbler Ridge Youth Service Society lease agreement. A recommendation, please. Councilor Noxana.
The council approves the renewal of the lease agreement with the Tumbler Ridge Youth Services Society as presented for a further 2-year period.
Seconder, Councilor Hoffman. Discussion, Councilor Julick.
I'm just wondering, will this align with their fee-for-service application? I'm just wondering, like, I want to make sure that it doesn't carry on over their fee-for-service. It makes sense to try and maybe tie those two together.
Ms. Scott.
Yeah, council approved fee for service for 25, 26, 27. And this will expire in November of 27. So, yes, it aligns.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Carried. 9.5, Healthcare Task Force Committee Recommendations, a welcome dinner invitee expansion, report dated February 2nd, 2026, from the Executive Assistant to CAO, Mayor, and Council regarding the Healthcare Task Force Committee Recommendations, a welcome dinner invitee expansion. Recommendation, please, Councilor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That council authorizes the use of the Healthcare Task Force recruitment and retention budget to invite healthcare professionals and their families to dinner with elected officials and up to 2 community members serving as ambassadors, and that the committee asks council to increase the council healthcare recruitment and retention budget amount from $10,000 to $20,000 to support recruitment, retention, and appreciation efforts with healthcare professionals.
Seconder, Councilor Noxana. Discussion, Councilor Julik.
I'm not in favor of increasing the budget until we get information back on Colwood.
Thank you. Just going to make a couple comments, and I appreciate the recommendation coming from the Health Task Force. This was something that was discussed as well as at our budget workshop. So budget workshop was just about council bringing forward some ideas so staff could start working on it. I know time doesn't lock us in until the budget's approved. To me, it would be the same as this motion. It's almost identical to the one that was talked about at the workshop. So at this point, I will be supporting it. Councilor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, and we're looking to expand this into, I mean, it's in the report, so I apologize for just repeating what's in the report. But we also need to start looking outside the direct scope of just having doctors that are coming in to sort of take them out to dinner and to introduce them to the community and similar interested individuals. You know, we need to start approaching individuals before they become doctors. You know, these first and second year residents, these are the doctors of tomorrow, not the doctors of 8 years, or the doctors of 1 to 2 years from now. So we definitely want to be trying to attract them back to the community, show them how welcoming we are. It's just something that's been identified as something we missed. So if we're doing everything we can to support healthcare in our community, and we want to have that face of being one of the best communities that appreciates healthcare in our community through these initiatives, I think we should be doing this. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Make a couple comments, and my comments will be the same. I mean, obviously, I support the motion already, but it was this came out back to us in regards to a locum doctor. They didn't feel that he was attached to our community. Wasn't getting engaged or had a pulse on it. So this was something that came forward, and we realized that maybe we've missed a step when we have locums or we have students coming to our community, that we're missing an opportunity to really sell the community, one, to the locums, but also to the graduates that are becoming out of school. And we all see, to me, what's going on with healthcare in Tumbler Ridge, but in the Peace region. And to me, anything we can do to increase that, I think we really need to put the pulse on that and start supporting little initiatives. And I think this came from, the Health Task Force, but it was a couple of doctors I mentioned about, that engagement, trying to get out there and meet people from the community as a locum coming in. And I think, I did attend one of the dinners, and I think it was great. We ended up with 2 locums at the same dinner, so it worked out really well to have them there together. But now they can see you on the street and actually reach out and wave or talk to you on the street, and I think it's really, really important. And like I said, to me, this was more or less the same motion or same discussion we had at the budget workshop. Councillor Julik.
Yeah, I'm all for the things, like for the recruitment and retention. We added that $10,000 budget amount in the fall last year, and it hadn't been used. So for me, to increase it arbitrarily when there's nothing to say this is what we're going to spend the money on, recruitment and retention, that can be 1,001 different things. It could be putting an ad on Indeed. It could be taking them out for dinner. I don't have a problem taking people out for dinner. We've already got $10,000 there. So for me, we're again just adding an arbitrary amount to another amount without having any direction on where that can be spent or where it could be spent. Maybe it'll end up being more than that. But to just have money there when somebody comes up with an idea feels like, it feels, I can't think of the word. it doesn't feel right. That's all I can say. So I won't be supporting the motion for that.
Yep, no problem, appreciate it. Just a couple comments. It can't just be spent anywhere, and where it's gonna be spent, I mean, it has to come back before council. So I just wanna make sure that's clear out there, that, you know, it's not just the health task force goes out and starts spending money, it's gonna come back before council. So yes, previously we had 10,000, it was not removed or whatever, or not used. It was actually to support when we had doctors coming over for the health task force meeting, because they were coming here on their lunch to provide lunch so that they weren't actually missing a meal. That's what we used it for previous when I was the chair of the board, and then doing other initiatives supporting the medical conference that happened in Tunbridge and such, which we've supported a different way in this year. So, okay, going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Julick's opposed. Motion carries. Healthcare Task Force Committee recommendation: advocacy for PRA program to provincial government. Report dated February 2nd, 2026, from the Executive Assistant to the CAO, Mayor, and Council regarding Healthcare Task Force Committee recommendations, advocacy for PR program to the provincial government. Just before we read the recommendation, I plan on actually putting I'm going to probably defer this, and I'm going to make a comment. The reason I'm going to defer is we just sent letters. Staff had just submitted these 2 weeks ago. My belief is we should wait for a response. So I am going to put a motion that we defer this until we receive a response from the letters that we've already sent out to the Ministry of Health, to Northern Health, to Premier Eby, to our MLAs of South Peace. And if I can get a second on that, I'll explain it more. Councillor Julick. Thank you. But yeah, it talked about the PRA in a letter that went out there. So I understand, coming from the Healthcare Task Force, understand it, but this is exactly what we sent out to them in regards to it. It was in regards to the PRA seats, but also the PAR doctors that are doing return for service, that Northern Health has already shown that they can move a PRA candidate from one community to another, and it still stands within their return for work program. So they're still getting the credits for that work, return to work program. Councillor Knoxena.
Thank you. I'm in favor of the deferral. I don't think it makes sense to continuously bombard an organization with letters until we get some sort of response. But I'd like to keep the essence of what this specific request is for our response, because prior we had asked for specific things. This is more looking at the program as a whole and how PRA candidates can hopefully be used a little bit more fluidly across the north, or give PRA candidates the option. If you're working in a community and you're not fully utilized, you could move fluidly across the north or across a region. So keeping the, I don't think we should keep sending letters, but keeping this pinned maybe for that response would be beneficial.
Yeah, I think the deferral pass, we can always ask staff just to add it to the action list, just so we don't lose it, or make sure, you know, just maybe put a target on it. I mean, normally we defer it to a date. I don't have a date on return letters, so I mean, we can even just, like the deferral says until we have a response back. And like I said again, I'll mention it again, the PRA candidates have moved through Northern Health from a community to other communities, with it actually being credited to their return for work. So, I mean, I know what you guys are asking for from the Health Task Force. It was, you know, was it clear and blue in the letter going to the ministry and that? No. Have I had other follow-up discussions? Yes. But I'm well aware of other Northern Health PRA programs that they have moved them around the Northern Health organization, and it counted against their credits. Going to call the question on the deferral. All in favor? Carried. Okay, council attendance at upcoming 2026 conferences. Report dated February 2nd, 2026, from the Executive Assistant to CEO, Mayor, and Council regarding council's attendance at upcoming 2026 conferences. I'm going to do the first recommendation that the following members of council, so when we do it, instead of identified for approved for travel, or approval for attendance. If you could just write that down just before we start getting a list of who wants to attend. This way we're already approving that travel. Does anybody know if they're available to attend the NCLGA? Make yourself known. Councillor Knoxena.
Thank you. I think that somebody should attend from Tumbler Ridge, so if nobody's available, I can put my name forward.
Thank you. I will also be attending at this time unless my schedule changes. Anybody else want to attend the NCLGA? Okay, put a motion on the floor that that the following members of council be approved for attendance at the Northern Central Government Association's Conference on May 19th to the 22nd, 2026 in Prince George. Seconder, Councillor Noxana. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. FCM. I will be attending. Anybody else from council would like to attend the FCM? Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be interested in attending FCM this year. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I would attend as well.
Okay.
But I recognize that I've also attended a few FCMs, so if anybody else wanted to go, happy to step out.
Okay. Anybody else want to attend? So mayor and up to 2 councillors. Okay, going to put a motion on the floor that the following members of council be approved for attendance at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference and the Trade Show on June 4th to June 7th, 2026 at Edmonton. Seconder, Councillor Norbury. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Keep It Rule in Kelowna, June 10th to the 12th. I will be attending. Anybody from council? Councillor Noxana.
Thank you. I am available to attend this as well. I have attended it once before, but I'd also really encourage anyone from council to attend this one. It was really, really well done when I was there 2 years ago. And a really good conference that speaks to local government folks from communities like ours.
Thank you. Anybody else from council? Okay, I'm going to put the motion on the floor that the following members of council be approved for attendance at the Keeping It Rural Conference on June 10th to the 12th, 2026 in Kelowna. Councillor Noxana and Mayor Kirkowka. Seconder, Councillor Julik. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Ms. Scott, just when it comes to these conferences, I know I've sent it to staff. If staff can just let us know if any staff are going to attend. I know you'll make that decision. That's up to you guys. But if just so we know, I think it's just nice to know that, you know, when we're booking things that we're paying attention, that we do have staff possibly attending. Schedule meetings. Anything from council? Okay. Anything from staff? Oh, hang on. Councillor Bertrand?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just curious, are we going to be adding some budget meetings?
Yes. Sorry, I don't have all the dates in front of me. We'll get it out to council. Again, I pre-warned council. I think what we seen at the workshop, so we did see some dates, and we just probably didn't update the calendar in time. I think we're going to have more than what we have suggested from the contractor. I think as Ms. Scott gets her CFO on board and he starts working through some of the stuff and figuring stuff out, then we'll get pushed on this budget and get stuff in terms. I just want to make sure, and I know spring break's coming up and all that, but we'll definitely work with council if they're not here. We'll try to move dates around. We really need all the council there. I mean, it is our budget until we pass it. Follow up, Councilor Norbury, or Councilor Bertrand, sorry.
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from staff?
No, all I was going to mention was that we hope to have some specific dates for budget meetings soon.
Thank you. Okay, any notice of motion? Okay, Councilor's business. Thanks, Councilor Noxana. Anything from the floor, Councilor Hoffman? In regards to conferences that you've attended or whatever?
Thank you, Mayor Kirkowka. Yeah, went to the Natural Resource Conference in Prince George. It seems like a much larger conference than I anticipated it to be. It seems to be large scale for sure. Unfortunately, we're not in the Northwest. Lots of mine projects heading out in Northwest BC now, so good for the province. I thought we had some good ministry meetings, forestry, mining, Minister of State, and I think my highlight was the dinner with Wes Moberly. It was really nice to just sit down with a few councillors and a few members and just talk and get to know and see what's going on.
Thank you. Councilor Noxana?
Thank you. I was able to attend the last day of Winter Carnival, and it was actually the day that Trora joined in, and all of their member clubs had booths and had things like snowmobiles and ATVs with tracks and showing kids avalanche beacons and snowshoes and things. So it was a really cool sort of co-event along with the Toboxen race. And I really enjoyed seeing how the community groups can come out and make the District of Tumbler Ridge events so much better. Our events have always been really good, but this just really added to it, and it was crazy busy down there.
Thank you. Anything else from council off the floor? Council Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended the conference with yourself and Councillor Hoffman. Great conference. It's good to see coal mining actually have a place in this conference. I always found it was kind of disappointing that they focus on all the other resource extractions and mining was left out. And there was a really great point in there where a great young lady from, maybe not young, younger than me, from another mining town really hit back and pointed out how much coal mining produces to the economy of British Columbia, and how sometimes we get ignored by the other precious metals, but in fact, coal moves the province. And I think it's great to see people recognize it, and they should. That coal is not a dirty word. Coal makes all of our cars, makes our skyscrapers, makes many parts of this building, and we should embrace it for the great resource extraction it is. I want to commend you, Mayor, for getting so much additional out of that conference. Any minister was there, we got to meet with them. And many communities did not. We got to meet with the Minister of State and Rural Communities. We got to talk about our healthcare issues. Minister of Mines, to thank them for the permit and just to continue with relations. The Ministry of Forests, to talk about our issues there. And and it was a lot different than UBCM because we had more time. We got to spend half an hour with these people. We got to just have relationship building, and those things really matter. The meeting with West Moberly was great because we were able to have a non-transactional time with a nation. That's very important to us, and our futures will be tied together for many years to come with this TLE process. So it was a great conference, very, very happy to attend and very worthwhile for our community. So thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Julik?
I apologize, I don't have my library and museum reports in the agenda. They'll be for the next one, but I did want to celebrate that the museum had the best numbers they've ever had their last season, even higher than when the Game of Thrones was here, so they were pretty excited about that.
Nice. That's good. Anything else from council? Okay, I got quite a bit. I'm going to try and keep it short. Been fairly busy. I also attended the BC Natural Resource Conference. I mean, there was definitely some dry sessions. I've got to be frank about that. I mean, not everything keeps you awake or keeps your heart beating in the room, but definitely coming from government. I hope they do the walk, because they're sure talking pretty good on the stage. A lot of the proposals they're talking about trying to shorten again permitting. They're looking at shortening that down even more than they have now. Councillor Hoffman mentioned it. I mean, Northwest has got some lines coming on board. They got the Northwest transmission line going in. We're going to see some stuff coming in the Northeast as some of the stuff moves forward into permitting and or gets their permits moving through. But yeah, so it was great to hear mining, and I can't remember the lady's name that used to work, and I'm going to get it wrong. So she works for Elk Valley now. The Councillor Norby was talking about, she did work for Kanima. I call her the firecracker. Sorry, thank you. And I was trying to figure it out. Nadia, she was on one of the panels, and the moderator just asked her. I mean, it was quite a busy room, and everybody was from a different company and different thing, and everybody's talking about gold and ore and nickel and all that, and come to her and she asked if she was feeling any love, and she was frank. No, we're not feeling any love over here. Like she and I think Councillor Norby mentioned that coal's not dirty. It's in everything: windmills, our phones, our trucks, our cars. It's in everything. So it was great to see her on that stage in that spot. I think she did a really good job really getting it out about coal. It's too bad she's not longer working for Kanima Resources, but she's moved and is now in the Elk Valley doing a great job down there. But it's great when we can see people that were here in Tumbler Ridge working understand, we're coal. We're not just everything else. And I think she really hit it home. So I think it's huge. Council's already mentioned about the minister meetings. I think it's a great opportunity when we have an opportunity to be able to reach out, and I have some really, really good contacts. It seems to make things work. So there's lots of other groups that did not get any meetings, never even thought about it. We met with pretty much everybody there. I know council was busy. I believe I was in a trade show when I got summoned by Saanich, who's the chief of staff for Premier Eby. So I did get a few minutes with Premier Eby when we were at the BC Natural Resource Forum. A very short conversation. We just talked about the healthcare. And very light. I think, we're going to reconnect. It was the biggest thing. At the UBCM, we met with Premier Eby again. We talked about the healthcare and such. I had a hard go there. So he just wanted to connect, which is, to me, is important. I think, I thank him for that. It was important. So I hope that we start to see something out of when we're meeting with these ministers. We keep spending the time at UBCM or other conferences. We just need to see some stuff, and I think we will. Hopefully, I think this is a build for 2026 as they get their permitting under schedule. The timelines are held. I think from forestry side, as they start to do some of their work with the First Nations and stuff like that, we start seeing some fiber actually moving to the mills that are out in the rural areas instead of being shipped, from the Tunbridge, Chetwynd area all the way down past Quesnel, which to me doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping that we see that. I think they're starting to work on some processes there. So I think it'll be important. I attended the opposition breakfast as well while I was there. I'll say they're trying to hold government task. I think they mentioned the same thing that, we understand that the resources are all north of Hope. BC does exist past Hope, BC, and it's in the north. Obviously there's some stuff in the south too, so we shouldn't take that away from them. But they really did that. I think they did a really good job of focusing on coal and fiber and that and the permitting shortness. So hopefully they still hold the government accountable and hold them to some of the comments they're making at these conferences, especially the BC Natural Resource one. Then I did attend the minister breakfast as well the next day. And again, a panel was Minister of Mines, Ministry of Forest, Minister of Walrus, Minister of Parks, and Minister of Energy, Adrian Dix. I just hope that what they're talking about on the stage and telling the elected officials and companies that are in the room that, what they're saying up on those stages back to the elected officials and the company people that were at the resource forum, that we're going to see some fruition out of it. And when I talk to quite a few different companies there, and that's where I think I get it from, because I think they have more expertise when it comes into, ore and nickel and all this stuff, and I don't even have that. That they say this is like the ramping up. You're going to see a lot of ramping up in the province of British Columbia, with it all the gates opening up in 2027. So I really hope it's true. I think it'd be great for our area, for the province, and definitely for the residents of British Columbia. It's needed. We need to get these resources out. So I think it's going to be important. I also came home for a couple of days, and then I went out again to the AME Roundup in Vancouver. Again, it's just a mining conference. I only attended a short time this year. I had to cut my trip short. I left Sunday, come back Wednesday morning. Again, it's just about mining. Again, it's a dialogue and the networking. I did attend a few sessions. I'm definitely not an expertise in any of the exploration or how you do ore samples or that, but I'm definitely learning. I attended quite a few. Brian Sullivan from Canoe Resource was like, you actually are going to those sessions? I'm like, yeah, I'm here on the tax door. I'm going to everything I can go to and try to learn. So you don't realize it, right? I don't have mining experience, so some of it was good. Again, I did attend the announcement of Premier Eby and the government. Premier Eby's speech at AME. He did he's like, I'm just hoping that it comes out. So he didn't attend the other one, but I did go to his speech on Monday morning at the opening there. Did a great job. Again, I just hope the government is actually we're going to see those changes happen, the timelines and all that they're talking about. So I can't wait to see that. I did attend the Halton Nation. Sorry? Tahltan Nation's announcement of the mining permit there. Amazing to, obviously government, but to see the nation there and the support that they have and the support they have with industry and the industry, the way they're supporting the nations, it's quite an eye-opener. Wish them luck, and I think, again, as companies realize that building those partnerships and relationships with First Nations, we'll see more of it. It was a big eye-opener. And I think we'll see more to come in the province. I did try to get a meeting with the Minister of Health, who would have been inbound for that announcement and the reception that night. She was held up in, I can't remember where it was, just before, I can't remember. She was held up in transport anyway, so she did get back to me that we could meet at the reception, and I said the reception's the wrong place to have a meeting. It's very hard to hear, so I told her I'd reach out once I'm back home and do a Zoom or something. But there's some conversations we need to have there in regards to, one, healthcare, but our letters that we sent, and I know the letters were sent and received because I was at the BC Natural Resource Forum after staff had sent them, and I received a response right away from the minister thanking us for all the background information from our meeting with Northern Health, the reply from Northern Health, and then the letters that we've sent for follow-up. So she was happy about that. I didn't get an opportunity to attend the Fall Fair, but I'm definitely happy that some council were able to attend, so that's great to see you guys out, so thank you for that. But yeah, I was hoping to be there for the box and then realized that my flight left at like 10 in the morning. I can't even remember what time it left, but it's great to see you guys out. I attended the U13 hockey tournament this weekend, well done by Minor Hockey of Tumble Ridge again, the basket table and all that. Tumble Ridge ended up coming in third. They had opportunities to be in the gold medal game, but you know, they're young players, and you know, sometimes you're tired or whatever it may be. But they did a great job, and the organization and the tournament organizers, they just an amazing job down there. And we heard it from people from out of the community. So sitting around listening to people have conversations about our community, and you know, I mean, I'd be weird. I wore a TR jacket, but they didn't. I know people didn't know I was from Tumblr. They were asking me where I was from, but. Lots of comments about the new parking lot, lots of comments about the sidewalks. There was a team that was here 2 years ago, and they said it's a totally different town with the new sidewalks downtown, so thank you to staff. The other comments I heard from people visiting our community, Prince George, Mackenzie, snow removal. Wow. Right? We had guys out, we had guys out right away doing our streets and our sidewalks. So, I mean, again, Ms. Scott, hats off to staff. When you have people coming from outside the community, realizing it, talking about our walking trails or all access trails, I just can't believe how much we actually have for a small community and stuff like that. And so it's great to hear if you get opportunities and get to hear that good feedback. So the other thing I just want to mention, I mean, I haven't watched a whole bunch of games. I'll be straightforward about that. But the U18, I think it's got to be mentioned. I meant to mention them a couple meetings ago. Some of the trophies they're winning and stuff like that, and tournaments and stuff like that. I think it's important to make sure we get a pulse on some of these professionals, and you know, basketball, seeing all the updates that are coming out of the high school with the basketball teams and stuff. So I think it's really, really important to see our young athletes and our young family members here in Tumble Ridge doing that. So keep up the good work, in my opinion. I just want to mention I did take at Amy Roundup, I did have an opportunity to meet with Soto First Nations Chief of Council. I was able to take them out for dinner again. I know we talked about the West Moberly and Prince George. It's great to have those non-transactionals. Same thing there. It is building and learning the stories, and just having where there's trust and they can just open up. And I think Councillor Hoffman and Councillor Norbury seen that at the BC Natural Resource Forum with West Moberly, and hearing about some of the stories of, you know, Chief Wilson's dad when he was, you know, doing garlics and how they grew the gardens, and the same thing with Soto. So I think, you know, those connections are really important. I know we have a meeting coming up Thursday. West Moberly, I'm not sure who's all attending. Councillor Noxana, Councillor Norbury, and Councillor Jew, again, if anybody has an opportunity and you're available, again, these things are really moving along with building those relationships. So, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I have more, but I'll talk for 20 minutes. I think that's good enough. Question and answer period. Ms. Scott, any emailed in questions?
No.
Thank you. Take a resolution to a closed meeting, please. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor. That the February 2nd, 2026 regular council meeting be closed to the public according to Section 90 E, I, J, and K of the Community Charter to permit discussions about E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of lands or improvement if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. J, information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public.
Seconder, Councillor Noxana, all in favor? Carried. Take a 5-minute recess.